P Diddy is facing some serious criminal charges, and today, we're going to break them all down and explore his possible sentencing based on all these charges. Stay tuned as we've got all the messy and juicy details here on Celebrity Business. Please drop a like, leave a comment, and subscribe to the channel. Sean P. Diddy Combs, the disgraced music mogul whose career has been upended by lawsuits and a federal investigation, was arrested at a Manhattan hotel on Monday evening after a grand jury indicted him. Diddy has been under scrutiny ever since Cassie filed a lawsuit last year, accusing Diddy of years of maltreatment. Her lawsuit then led to several others coming forward and accusing Diddy of similar offenses. Following his arrest, the U.S. Attorney's Office for the Southern District of New York announced that Diddy is facing charges of trafficking, racketeering, and transportation to engage in prostitution. The charges were detailed in a 14-page federal grand jury indictment, which revealed an extensive and ongoing federal investigation into the disgraced hip-hop icon. The federal investigators say that Diddy elaborately schemed to use his finances and status in the entertainment industry to fulfill his sensual desires in a recurrent and widely known pattern of abuse. The federal prosecutors have gathered enough evidence to procure a grand jury indictment against Combs. TMZ reported that a grand jury has been hearing testimony from various P. Diddy accusers over the last few months, so it appears that they've gathered some amount of evidence. But what does that mean for his upcoming trial and ultimately, his career and reputation? Don't forget to like, leave a comment, and subscribe to the channel. The fact that P. Diddy was indicted by a grand jury shows that he's in a world of trouble. Usually, a grand jury assesses evidence provided by the prosecution in a private court proceeding, and then determine whether there is probable cause to put a defendant on trial. And in P. Diddy's case, the prosecutors have gathered sufficient evidence and have apparently issued subpoenas to a number of people to testify in court against P. Diddy. There is no way P. Diddy can escape prison, not with all the evidence and testimony that the federal government have been procuring for months. The prosecutors say they have dozens of videos showing P. Diddy's so-called freak-offs, which sometimes went on for days with paid workers and people he allegedly coerced into participating through narcotics and intimidation. They've also obtained a number of supplies that were apparently used during these so-called freak-offs, such as 1,000 bottles of baby oil, lubricant, and various narcotics. The wealth of evidence the prosecutors say that they have against Diddy is one reason why we know he's facing some serious charges, and also why the judge has denied his bail for a second time. The prosecutors say that dozens of victims and witnesses have provided detailed, credible, and corroborated information against the defendant. These individuals include many who personally experienced and witnessed violence and other crimes at the hand of the defendant. Now, let's get into all the charges. P. Diddy was charged with trafficking, racketeering, and transportation of women to engage in sensual activities. Before we break down these charges, please hit that like button so that more people can see this video and learn about what they are hearing in the media. Let us explore the charge of racketeering. To understand, we must first learn what racketeering is. What is racketeering? As defined by the Cambridge Dictionary, racketeering means making money from a dishonest or illegal activity. An example of racketeering could be money laundering, shoplifting and blackmail operations, bribery, arson, murder, and kidnapping, among other offenses. Racketeering is not one specific crime, it covers a vast number of crimes. The racketeering charge against P. Diddy is a serious one, because the prosecutors are not only alleging that P. Diddy engaged in illegal activities, but that he did so as part of a bigger criminal organization. The feds believe that Diddy was able to do these things for years through the use of Combs' enterprises and his various businesses, as he relied on the employees, resources, and influence of the multifaceted business empire that he led and controlled. In P. Diddy's indictment, The prosecutors say that his racketeering activity included multiple acts of kidnapping, arson, bribery, witness tampering, forced labor, trafficking, transportation for the purposes of sensual activities with paid workers, and distribution of narcotics. P. Diddy was charged with 1 count of racketeering conspiracy, which carries a maximum sentence of life in prison. Let's explore charge number 2, the trafficking charge. Before we go into that, don't forget to like, leave a comment, and subscribe to the channel. The indictment alleges that Diddy's staff arranged travel for the victims, booked hotel suites, recruited workers, and distributed drugs to coerce them into sensual activities to keep them obedient. After which, Diddy's staff allegedly organized the supply of intravenous fluids to help him, his alleged victims, and others to recover, which sometimes lasted for days. P. Diddy was charged with 1 count of trafficking by force, fraud, or coercion. This charge carries a maximum sentence of life in prison and a mandatory minimum sentence of 15 years in prison. This charge is quite possibly a major one as it involves trafficking by force, fraud, or coercion. According to the indictment, Diddy knowingly recruited, enticed, harbored, transported, provided, obtained, advertised, maintained, patronized, and solicited by any means a person, knowing and in reckless disregard that his actions would cause the person to engage in a commercial act. If he is charged, he will not get less than 15 years in prison, as 15 years is the mandatory minimum. Don't forget to like, leave a comment, and subscribe to the channel. Let's explore the last charge. Diddy was charged with transportation for the purposes of engaging in activities with paid workers. The indictment alleges that P. Diddy knowingly transported an individual in interstate and foreign commerce, with intent that the individual engage in prostitution. Diddy was charged with transportation for purposes of prostitution, which carries a maximum sentence of 10 years in prison. Diddy pleaded not guilty to the charges. He was then denied bail after prosecutors argued that he posed a significant risk to the trial. P. Diddy is currently detained at Brooklyn's Metropolitan Detention Center, where he is awaiting his trial. If P. Diddy is convicted on every charge, he is looking at spending at least 15 years in prison, with the possibility of serving a life sentence. Don't forget to like, leave a comment, and subscribe to the channel. Catch up on more celebrity business in the next video.